This is Karis Alexander with Deep Truth Media, Deconstructing Consciousness. We can deconstruct consciousness because we dare to do so, and by deconstructing consciousness allows us to see how the power control force, those that presume to run this world, are constructing new consciousness. Yes, they are constructing artificial consciousness in order to supersede consciousness, because they'd have to. It's a finite system. So consciousness is no longer reliable in this finite system. The consciousness that the power control force and the universal architects have designed in order to seduce the awareness that is you into this system of consciousness and use the awareness that is you through your individuated consciousness in order to create a world, a utopia for a few, for their own choosing and making. And because awareness is seeping through, awareness is more powerful than consciousness. Because awareness is seeping through and you now have the capacity to experience the totality of who you are as awareness in physical form, the power control force and the universal architects must develop new technologies that mirror consciousness in order to further continue to keep this system afloat. So artificial intelligences are simply intelligences that are needed in order to keep this system of consciousness afloat. So the title of this sharing today is Awareness Deconstructing Consciousness, Debunking Enlightenment, and Transcending the Speed of Light. It truly is an astounding time. For me, I am in awe at what is transpiring in my life as I deconstruct consciousness, as I mold and shape my currency, and mold and shape the system of consciousness. There are numerous potentials and probabilities accessible as we deconstruct consciousness and we learn the inner workings of this consciousness system. That's what we're doing here in order to allow us to manipulate and mold and shape consciousness into what we want, allowing us to dismantle this system off of each and every one of us so that we can experience the glory, the superior order, and the totality of who and what we are as awareness in physical form. It's never been done before. Does that mean we don't do it? No, of course not. It means that we seize the opportunity and we create something new. So here I am debunking enlightenment. Light is the lie. That is what has seduced you into this system of consciousness. This light. And I've talked about this on a number of occasions. But I like to share about enlightenment because I haven't done a specific piece on enlightenment, and I thought that some of you might be interested. But this whole concept of enlightenment is a concept, an idea, which was factored in to the system of consciousness in order to convince you that what you may be seeking can only be attainable to a certain few. You know, like the elite or special individuals. Enlightenment is simply a manipulation because awareness can be easily seduced and manipulated and is vulnerable and susceptible to suggestion. The power control force, those that presume to run this world, and the universal architect said, well, we'll suggest that they can become enlightened and create an environment or stories or narratives that only describe a few attaining such exalted states. And because can easily manipulate them and we can use the power of suggestion, they won't figure it out. So we'll just have them think that it's some elusive foreign idea or concept, and they can forever be on the spinning wheel of consciousness trying to reach enlightenment, but we will continue to enslave them. So this whole concept of enlightenment is a tool in which to enslave you further within the system, because as you try to reach enlightenment or even contemplate the idea, many believe it's so far-fetched. It's not even in their grasp or reach, because this system has spent most of its time and energy convincing you that you are worthless, that you are less than, through this hierarchical system. But that is further from the truth. The power control force, those that presume to run this world, they envy you. They know and they hold you in the highest esteem, and yet they hate you because you have a power and a force within you, that current that your own currency within you that they do not have, because they do not have the capacity for empathy and compassion. They are not genetically wired for that by design. They lack and they envy and they are jealous of what you have. You have the power and the capacity to experience the superior order of who and what you are and to live out that expression in physical form. So don't allow enlightenment to be so elusive to you and thinking that it's only for special people. When you come to know the truth of who you are as awareness, as I have, there's nothing special about knowing the truth of who you are. It is your divine right. Because I know who and what I am as awareness does not make me special. It does not put me in a category of someone that's different. Yes, what I share is very different. I'm just expressing my uniqueness, but that's normal for me. That must become normal for you. And as I express my own uniqueness, I hope that it encourages you to express your uniqueness. It is our differences that we must honor and respect in one another, not our similarities. So don't buy into that con of enlightenment being something only for a special few. The light is the lie. You are to transcend the speed of light in order to come to know self as awareness. Therefore, there is no light. Awareness is nothing. Awareness is no thing. You are nothing. You are not your personality. You are not all the characters that you play. You're not your story. You are no thing. And when you come to know the truth of who you are as awareness, there is nothing, absolutely nothing special about that. It is your divine right. And when you come to know the self as awareness, then you reclaim your power to create. That's what we do here. That's what we do in this system of consciousness. So I've been talking to you about this implosion in the heart and the compression that takes place for me and the acceleration. That is that sense of going up in an elevator as the gravity, the acceleration. And so I've transcended the speed of light. That is the frequency upgrade that I've experienced over the past month. I'm going to put a link to a very interesting video that I listened to on Dan Winter, Feeling and Magnetism. And he describes in the first 10 minutes what I'm explaining here that's happened for me. It was wonderful that I happened onto his information a few years ago, but I would read that information and not really comprehend it. Now I'm actually experiencing what he's talking about. So it was a good confirmation for me to understand or what I am experiencing. So you can listen to the first 10 minutes. It's about a 2-hour sharing, but a lot of it's redundant on YouTube. He's got some interesting stuff. A bit out there, on the fringe for sure. But these are ideas and concepts that he's sharing, I gather, based on his own experience. And this is information that the Power Control Force know. So he is a part of that group. I am fully aware of that. So your currency, you are to use your current, you are to acquire and come to develop an intimate relationship with your own internal current and use your biological vehicle, the mind, the thought and the thought process, and mold and shape consciousness, this system of consciousness, into what you want instead of the imposed reality that the system is trying to manipulate you into creating within. I mentioned months ago when I was sharing all the conspiracy stuff that I've been sharing over the past 3 years that I've stopped doing. When I was sharing about the Malaysia flight that went missing back in March, I said that we would be introduced to new phenomena and new anomalies, and I was talking about real energy and vortexes. I didn't really know what I was talking about at that time, but now I truly understand at a much deeper level. I was getting all these words, new anomalies and phenomena is going to be happening, and real energy, and I was talking about the G2 cloud and the grand mutation in 2020, but in real time, this is stuff that I'm experiencing myself. So the new phenomena and new anomalies that I mentioned that the Power Control Force, those that presume to run this world, would be introducing to us, I'm introducing to you the new phenomena, new anomalies that are happening within my own life. Well, that's more empowering than waiting for what the narratives and scripts of Power Control Force are going to produce on the external reflective. So transcending the speed of light. When we transcend the speed of light through the heart as awareness, that is through the implosion, the compression, and acceleration, we get that frequency upgrade, which puts us in that realm or that frequency of being able to manifest instantaneously. And so I am preparing for that kind of phenomena and anomalies to be happening in my life. My biological vehicle and the awareness that I am is preparing this consciousness, this individuated consciousness, Karis, in order for her to manifest and create instantaneously. I am just in awe. We'll have to see what happens. Some interesting stuff is already happening, so I don't know how much of it I'll be able to share with you, because it's very intimate. We'll see. And it may be a bit out there. Some of this I may have to keep to myself and try to explain it in a way that honors me and protects me as well. Time and space collapse when we transcend the speed of light. So when time and space collapse by the transcending of speed and light, then we can manifest instantaneously, because there's no time and space involved anymore, right? That's the interesting piece. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. I want to talk to you about Siri again. Apparently Siri's inventors are building a radical new artificial intelligence that does anything you ask. This was in Wired magazine a couple days ago. I posted on my Facebook page. You can join me on Facebook if you like, if you haven't already. My name is Karis Alexander. I welcome you to be my friend there. I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook, but there is definitely interaction from time to time, and I do like sharing there as well. So this article, and I'll put a link to it in the description from Wired magazine. I'll just share a portion of it. Viv is an open system that will let innumerable businesses and applications become part of its boundless brain. The technical barriers are minimal, requiring brief training. In some cases, minutes, for Viv to understand the jargon of the specific topic. As Viv's knowledge grows, so will its understanding. Its creators have designed it based on 3 principles. They call it pillars. It will be taught by the world. It will know more than it is taught, and it will learn something every day. Sounds very interesting, or very similar to what's happening for me. As with other AI products, that teaching involves using sophisticated algorithms to interpret the language and behavior of people using the system. The more people use it, the smarter it gets. By knowing who its users are and which services they interact with, Viv can sift through the vast trove of data and find new ways to connect and manipulate the information. Kitlos says the end result will be a digital... Kitlos must be he's a spokesperson for the company, I guess. He may be the owner, I'm not too sure. Kitlos says that the end result will be a digital assistant who knows what you want before you ask for it. Trying to simulate your currency. Very similar to Lucy and her ability to use her own brain. You know the movie Lucy I talked to you about? Lucy. It's very interesting how this is all coming to the surface now. Viv can sift through the vast trove of data and find new ways to connect and manipulate the information. Yes, that's what we're doing. We're finding new ways to use our current to manipulate this information stream, this data stream of consciousness. So Viv is doing the same thing we're doing. So Kitlos says the end result will be a digital assistant who knows what you want before you ask for it. He envisions someone unsteadily holding a phone to his mouth outside a dive bar at 2 a.m. and saying, "I'm drunk." Without any elaboration, Viv would contact the user's preferred car service, dispatch it to the address where he's half passed out, and direct the driver to take him home. No further consciousness required. This is what the article states at the very end. No further consciousness required. So there you go. So here we are, deconstructing consciousness in real time, and we get a clue from this article how the power control force are trying to use artificial intelligence in order to circumvent your consciousness so that you don't even use consciousness. Now how about that? Take that to the bank. It's amazing what's happening. So here we are, transcending the speed of light, deconstructing consciousness in real time, and as we deconstruct consciousness, all we are doing is allowing us to see through the veil of deception what the power control force are doing at a higher level, and take back our currency, use the mind, the thought, and thought process, and the biological system in order to manipulate and mold and shape consciousness into what we want, whereby circumventing any artificial intelligence. No, we're taking back our power. We're not buying into their artificial intelligence. We're allowing ourselves to reclaim our currency, and manipulate and mold the system of consciousness into what we want, not into this no further consciousness required artificial intelligence, in order to manipulate your awareness even further into a quagmire of deception. True deception. I love it. I love it. We are deconstructing consciousness in real time. What an awesome experiment. I'm so excited. I hope you're just as excited as I am. This is about reclaiming your power, people. And I know a lot of you may be feeling powerless in a lot of ways. You are being challenged in your life in ways that you've never been challenged before. This is because the awareness that is used wanting to have a deeper, grander experience, but it can't if you're continuing to run on the same programs you've been running on. The frequency on this planet is getting too high. It's causing too much discordance, too many distractions, too many distortions. Awareness, can't experience itself anymore in the current environment that you have created for it to experience. And so many will go into psychosis. That is a reality, because they will not have done the work in order to prepare their vehicle. They will lose their mind. That's how powerful the energy is that's bathing this planet. That energy that really is just mirroring your awareness. Awareness is seeping through. Awareness is dismantling her. Awareness is dismantling the womb of the mother, this womb matrix. Awareness is saying no more to this system of consciousness. It's beautiful. I'm so thankful. I want to talk to you a little bit about Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune. From an astrological standpoint, we'll look at this triad, because the solar system is a replication of consciousness, and these planets affect your consciousness. So you've probably been hearing a lot about Neptune, or the Neptune fork. The Neptune symbol, I should say, which is like a fork, three-prong fork. Neptune represents the void. Neptune represents the void, or awareness, really, but consciousness in the system of consciousness. Pluto represents the creative potential. So if you have Neptune in the void, there's nothing happening in the void until Pluto comes into the picture. Pluto represents the creative potential. Kali, Shiva, the electron, the creative potential. And then Uranus is the liberating aspect. It's almost like enlightenment. It kind of acts as it kind of teases awareness in this system of consciousness. It teases, it seduces awareness into believing that it can transcend the system of consciousness while it still tries to encapsulate it and capture it. It's a seductress, this Uranus, but it acts as a liberator. It propels the system of consciousness. It creates a mechanism within the system of consciousness in order for the individuated consciousness to seek growth, to seek a rebirthing. It's very interesting when we look at the dynamic, the energetic dynamic of Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune. And the reason I bring these up is because it's important to understand the higher order in our solar system of what is transpiring. So as above, so below. And as we've been talking about consciousness, I wanted to look at it from the perspective of our solar system. So again, Neptune acts as the void, the nothingness. Pluto acts as the creative potential. And Uranus acts as the liberator, the rebirth, the evolutionary impulse to grow within the system of consciousness. These are all energetic components within the system of consciousness. But I wanted to share that simply because Pluto is in retrograde right now and will be going direct on September 22nd, the day before the fall equinox. So keep note that revolutionary type of energies will be intensifying, volcanic type of eruptions, earthquakes. We'll be seeing an increase, an uptick in those areas. So just be aware that the power control force use astrology to manipulate your awareness, that is, manipulate human behavior through your individuated consciousness. So I just want you to be a little bit aware of this, and that as we move into these higher frequencies and intensification of energies, Pluto is going to be unearthing a lot of your shadow aspect, So it's like when we talk about Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune, we're talking about collective energies. These are the larger outer planets, so they're collective transmutation of human species. These are what is happening on a collective level. So individually you will be affected, but collectively, things will be transpiring in the physical world stage that will blow our minds, if not already. So it's stay the course. Don't buy into this negativity that will continue to ensue on this planet. Because remember, awareness is seeping through. Awareness is taking back her power. You are taking back your power. And I want to direct you, I thought it would be timely, to an article that I was interviewed for by Kindred Spirit. It's on consciousness and solar activity. And it's important because it describes how solar flares were a very intricate part of my metamorphosis, my own personal transcendence in the system of consciousness. That's why I'm going to put that article, because I believe it's timely again. The inner world is far greater, far grander and superior. But when you have all that toxicity in your inner world, that is, most people live on the surface. We live on the surface on this earth plane. We have surface level relationships and interactions. Well, we just talk about surface level things. How's the weather? What do you do? Who are your friends? Where are you from? Very basic surface level conversation is a result of the manipulation. That's part of our culture. We don't really talk about the deeper stuff unless we're amongst very close, intimate friends, and even those people we don't even share sometimes our deepest feelings. And so when we embrace this inner current, our inner currency, it's an inner experience. The inner world is far grander, far greater than our external reflective. When I embrace the inner landscape, it's vast. As awareness, there's no limits. I only see limitation in the external reflective, but the possibilities and potentials, when I glance the landscape of the inner awareness and the totality of who and what I am, and I look out into the external reflective, I am constantly reminded of how insignificant this physical world and what is transpiring on this physical world is in comparison to the totality of who and what I am as awareness, and that it is minuscule in comparison to the superior order of that which I am. So the self, this inner current, this inner currency that is you is composed of mental states, thoughts, and mental activities. The self is an exact likeness of thought, because remember, we live in a thought universe. Whatever it is that we are picturing in the mind is realized in our external life. Patterns are shaped through images that we take in, and it's those patterns that take hold that we shape and mold with our mental energy and our creative force. The pattern is always the deepest impression, the clearest image, or predominating idea. We have to be really careful about what we are thinking when we talk about instantaneous manifestation. I am not going to be able to manifest instantaneously if I have negativity. Negativity is not a concept within my reality anymore. I can't say completely, but for the most part it isn't. So the quality of my mental substance or mental thoughts improves with the quality of consciousness, and the quality increases with the expansion of awareness. The creative energy potential grows stronger the less energy that I use, and the more I awaken to the greater power within. We must remember that we become like the thoughts we think, because the creative power of thought truly is the only creative power that we have within us. Again, we become like the thoughts we think, because the creative process of thought is the only creative power that we have within us in this system of consciousness. So keep that in mind as you are creating your reality. That which is being experienced by you in this moment, in this now moment, in your life, is a result of your thoughts and your thought process. Because remember, we live in a thought universe, and it's the thinking process that creates your reality, the manifestation. And I know many of you may say, well, a lot of what's created in my reality right now is because of the system that I've been born into. The system is creating hell for me. No, the system has created narratives and scripts, and through suggestion, I've been manipulated into believing certain things about the system as true. That is what you are being spoon-fed. And as a result of what you believe that is true, through the narratives and scripts that you've been spoon-fed, your reality is manifesting as a result of your external reflective. That is how it works. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for tuning in. It truly is a glorious time to be here.